And anyhow, I was sent back to Naples to a depot, convalescent depot, and I was in the convalescent depot till I was discharged. All I remember, I had pipes in my leg, which were draining. They never said I could walk properly. And the movie house was 5 miles from my convalescent depot. I remember every day I walked 5 miles to. Now I don't know whether it's 2.5 miles and it's a total of 5 miles or there's 10 miles. But I remember I forced myself to walk to the movie, and I forced myself to move back. And I was able to regain the use of my leg properly, which I couldn't in Bologna properly. You know, I always drove. Anyhow, to make a long story short, when I was discharged, I was sent to Egypt, and it went also very quickly. I did not have chance to meet any of my Egyptian friends. I was sent back to Sarafend, I was discharged, sent to Tel Aviv. Where do you live? I lived in a YMCA. I remember I had a knock at my door, and there was military police, and they arrested me. They took me downstairs, and there was a barbed wire enclave in front of the hotel, the whole park area, and it was full with many officers of mine. I forgot to mention one thing. When I was in Jerusalem, Abdullah had talked to Moshe, the head of the Palmach, which were the fighting units, had died. I forgot what his Ben Zvi or something, had died, and Snee respected Abdullah very much, and Moshe Snee wanted a union with the Arabs too. So he sent an adjutant and asked me whether I would take over the command of the Palmach. To me, I mean, big deal. After the commandos, that was nothing, you know. So I said yes. So somehow the English, through an informer, must have found out not necessarily what our ranks were, what our position was, but literally every Jewish officer I knew had been arrested, was in that camp. Right in front of the YMCA. And that was not the old territorial army, decent English guys. That was a regular army, real shits, real bastards. They were insulting the guys, spitting, kicking. And all I remember is walking around and said, if they spit on you, if they shit on you, whatever they do, you will not respond, because they will open fire and kill us all. Because that's the purpose of this whole thing.
Who were they? Why were they doing that?
They wanted to get rid of us. They found out that we were the center or the heart of the Haganah. Without the Palmach, the Haganah would have been nothing. All experienced officers. And I remember, I went to the colonel's office. I had the DCM, very high British medal. I said I demand to appeal to the king. I said, you cannot do this. I said, I cannot do this. I have the DCM. This is my privilege. I said, okay, what do we do for you not to appeal to the king? I said, everybody in this camp is going to be let go. That charade went on for 2 weeks. For 2 weeks I was in that camp. They didn't give us food, or very little food, and insult, practically no water. I mean...
But they were British?
British. They were trying to murder us.
Yeah.
Did you see Gandhi?
Yeah.
Did you see the way they wiped out that whole...
Oh, yeah.
Well, I saw it in Beit Nabala, where they wiped out a whole Arab village.
Yeah.
And they were going to do it with us. And it really, I was very lucky I had that high medal. I think I'm the only Palestinian, maybe another one got it, who had the DCM. And that, I never got it personally, I got only the ribbon. Only the king can give you the medal. So maybe one day I break down and apply for it.
Yeah.
I might get a trip to England.
Sure, do it.
I still haven't gotten over that concentration camp. That was a concentration camp.
Yeah.
A British concentration camp. It was inhuman.
Well, it should be
The way
exposed.
they treated us. I was the only lucky one.
What did the British want, though? Why did they want to get rid of you?
We were all officers of the Haganah.
But they wanted...
They knew if there's an uprising. At that time they were pro-Arab.
Oh,
They were pro-Arab. They literally wanted us wiped out.
yeah.
I mean, one British captain walked down Tel Aviv and shot a guy. In front of everybody. He was never arrested, he was promoted to colonel and sent back to England. That's the way the atmosphere was at that time.
Yeah.
I mean, I hated the British. A nurse in the hospital was a friend from she has a rank, and she had a job for me in London, or wherever it's a theatre, it's a place was in England, to be a cartoonist. But after that episode, I wasn't going to go to England. To make a long story short, after 2 weeks, I won. They let us all go, but we were all, quote unquote, under English military secret service supervision. The only thing the idiots didn't do, they watched the front of the house. People came over my balcony for meetings. It was a very critical time. Ben-Gurion was an idiot. A very uneducated, arrogant son of a bitch. He was a macher. He came from Russia, and Russian Jews, there's a saying, Jews were always an exaggeration for the people they lived with. German Jews were more German than German. Russian Jews were more Russian than Russian. It was despicable. The machers, everything in Palestine at that time was who you know, not what you knew. I went to Benjamin, son of Melnick was there. I went to Lehman and said, can you give me a recommendation for a job? Because we were all sitting in the cafes after I got out of that mess. And he said, yes, he Gollum, or whatever, not Gollum, Margulis, I think was his name. And I got a job at the museum in Tel Aviv. And he sent me to the WWII. I became the official illustrator, an art director. I didn't know anything about illustrating an art. I'd illustrated a few science books for my teachers in Benjamin. But literally, dozens of artists and letterers and mechanics and illustrators were helping me. And I said, why are you helping me? You should have the job. I said, look, you got the protection, you're giving us worth. We thank our lucky stars that you got the job, because you're helping us all. I got £10 a month, which is at that time was something like $40. But in 1946, $40 in Israel was a fortune. Anyhow, for 1 year I worked at the WWII. I illustrated a children's book, which I've completely forgotten about it. I have it right here. I think I showed it to you. Oh. If you haven't seen it, I will show it to you. And I did a lot of books, and that was the way I earned my living. But every night it was scheming and plotting. And it came to, we all knew the whole thing would blow up, one way or another. It was just a question who moved first.